2D tools in 3D. What? Yes, I primarily used a Tilemap to make my free and open source Minigolf Microgame. It's 3D. And I'm going to show you how you can do the same in your game. Hey, Chris here from LlamAcademy. Here to help you. Who? Me? Yes, you. Make your game dev dream become a reality by helping you expedite the level creation process for your 3D games. Before making this microgame, I had never touched a single 2D tool in Unity before. I was manually placing a bunch of objects around in 3D space, basically in a grid, and I thought to myself,
surely there's a more effective way to do this. Surely Unity has something for this.
So I went into trusty old Google and found the Tilemap Extras package that allows us to place game objects on a grid and on a tile map. This was almost perfect for what I wanted to do with the Minigolf Microgame, and most importantly, each one of these levels only took a couple of minutes each to make. This is just one video in a series of videos where I'm covering all of the aspects that went into making this free and open source Minigolf Microgame. So if you want to play around with the exact same project that you're seeing here, head over to my GitHub page. You can download the full project today. And if you want to play it, you can of course go over to itch and play it for free there as well. Links to both of those in the description, and both are 100% free. Now, first things first, we're going to be using a couple packages from Unity. Make sure you've opened up your package manager, which you can get to by going to Window, Package Manager. And I'm using Unity 6, which is in beta right now, which changes a little bit of this if you're using an older version. Maybe your Pro Builder user interface doesn't quite look the same, but the concept of what we're doing doesn't change regardless of the version of Unity that you're using. So I made all of my tiles using Pro Builder, so that's a very important one for me to have. We're also going to need the 2D Tilemap Editor and the 2D Tilemap Extras. The key thing that we need the extras for is the game object brush. By default, you can't paint game objects onto the 2D tilemap, which then defeats the purpose of what we're trying to do here. If you're making a 2D game, you can probably stick with just the tilemap editor, but the tilemap extras have a lot of really great features that you'll probably end up eventually needing. So I highly recommend to include that, even if you don't think you need it today. Let's start with making the tilemap. In your hierarchy, you can just right click, 2D object, tilemap, rectangular. That'll create you a grid and a tile map. You're going to want to make sure your tilemap tile anchor is 0.5x, 0.5y, because we're going to use objects that are exactly 1 unit on the x and the z. So right now, you'll notice that this grid is not oriented according to how we normally want things, because we're going to be doing a 3D game where the XZ is usually the ground, and this is using XY as the ground. So in our grid, we can change the cell swizzle to XZY, which gives us XZ being our primary plane and then Y for up and down. You're also going to want to open your tile palette. And if you don't have this little window, you can go to Window, 2D, Tile Palette. That'll do the exact same thing as clicking that button. I like to dock it to the bottom right over here beneath my inspector. And you're not going to see all of these tiles here. It's just I'm using my Minigolf Microgame, so I've already done a lot of stuff in here. To make your tile palette, you can just click right here, say create new tile palette. Let's create a demo palette. Rectangular grid is perfect. Cell size, automatic is going to be great. 1, 1, that's exactly what we want. You can also manually override that, but I don't think we need to do that today. Let's go ahead and create that. I have a folder specifically for palettes, and it'll ask you to drag some tile, sprite, whatever over here, and we'll get to that in just a minute. So I have a bunch of tiles, and if you're going to follow this whole tutorial series, I would highly recommend that you make a resources folder /tiles and put all of your tiles in here. That's going to come in really handy later when we do the level loading at runtime and when we're doing the editor tool to save the level and the scene layout. If you don't care about that, then you don't need to put it here. It doesn't really matter where you put them. For this video, I'm going to just put them in the prefab so I don't mess with my core resources stuff, because I'm going to be creating some duplicate tiles that I already have. Now, we need to create some of these, and the way that we create them is very important. If you already have some of these, you're going to want to make sure that the pivot point of whatever tiles you're going to use are aligned appropriately to work in this tile map. And let me explain what I mean by that. If we're going to create a cube, we're going to want everything to be default 1 by 1 by 1 on the X, Y, and Z. This ball, by the way, is just about at 0, 0, 0, just a little bit up. So we can use that as a good orienting point. Now, the pivot of this cube is the direct center of the cube. We can leave it like this, but probably all of our tiles aren't going to be perfect cubes. And I actually don't want all of them to be 1 by 1 by 1. My ground cubes, I like to be a little bit smaller. So if we select the top face, which if you're not accustomed to the Pro Builder UI here, if you click this little grid edit looking button at the top, that gives us our Pro Builder tools here. We're going to select the face and drag it down so it's half the height, so 0.5y. Then we can click that same icon and that's going to make it go away. Since this is going to be grass, I'm going to color it green with vertex colors, which you can get to by going to Tools, Pro Builder, Editors, Open Vertex Color Editor. If you're not using Unity 6, you can get to that from the standard Pro Builder window. There's a button for Open Vertex Colors. Now that we have this grass cube and we've shrunk it from the top, we can see that now the pivot is actually on top of our cube, and that's fine. Remember that our tile map is going to put stuff at 0.5.5. So let's make this cube into a prefab that we can put into our tile map. We'll call it grass, make a prefab out of it, and then drag that to our tile palette. And we can see also here, it's aligned where in our 1x1 grid, it's only taking up half the height. Cool. So let's just disable this grass. We're going to use it for reference in a little bit. We select our grid in the hierarchy, and in our tile palette panel, select the little paintbrush, click on our grass tile that we just put in here, and make sure you select the game object brush. If you have default brush selected, or if you're clicking and dragging around and nothing's happening, you probably don't have the game object brush selected. So now let's take the game object brush and just click once anywhere in the scene. We can see that's perfectly aligned to the square, and the top of it is right there on our plane. And that's exactly what we want to happen. Let's go ahead and open that grass prefab. And just for fun, if we were to modify it, the mesh, make it taller and come from the bottom instead. Now, because we shrunk it from the bottom and the pivot's now at the bottom of the cube, if we save that, come back to the scene, we'll see that this is now sitting on top of that grid. Doesn't really matter which way you do this, as long as you're consistent in the way that you have your tiles oriented. Because if I have one like this, and then let's say that I want to make a sand tile, and I have my sand tile oriented the other way, well, it's not really sand looking. There, that's probably better. Where the pivot's on top, we'll call it sand and make a new prefab. And we can see these are misaligned, right? Already over here, we can tell something's going to go wrong. We select the grid, select the sand tile, and just click there. They're not aligned. That's why the pivot's really important as we're creating our tiles or using even assets. You may need to parent your model underneath an empty game object to orient it the right way. Okay, so let's fix the grass. I prefer this workflow with the pivot being on top. Back over in the scene view, let's go ahead and remove these tiles. And if we select our grid and then the grass, paint the sand, we can see that they're both on the same plane. So that's perfect. You'll also see if we have the grid selected, we're painting on the grid, not the tile map. You can reparent those to the tile map, have the tile map selected and paint, and then everything goes into the right place. I think I said earlier you should select the grid. Generally, selecting the tile map is really what you want to do. Let's go ahead and make one more tile just for fun. Let's make a wall. So here we've got a grass. The way that I make a wall is, again, with every tile, I start with a 1x1x1 cube. That just orients the pivot to be where I want it to be. I can align it next to another cube that I know looks right. And then I can manipulate the cube, whatever new tile I want to make, to look like whatever I want it to. So here for a wall, I want it to be a little bit tall and really thin. Now this one's aligned to the right and the pivot still is off the side of the mesh, which is perfect for what I want here. Let's color it gray and let's call this wall right. We'll make a prefab and put that, let's say, on the right of these things. On our tile palette, we can see it's a little bit taller than those. Let's disable that grass and wall right in the scene view, select the tile map, paintbrush, select the wall, and let's go ahead and put it over here. Cool, now I've got it on the right side. Now we can do a few things while we're painting. Down here at the very bottom, we have the offset, scale, and orientation. So even though this is technically wall right, if we just rotate that 180 degrees, it can become wall left, and 90 to be wall back, and 270 to be wall front. Now we've made a walled in area. So we can change those orientations, the scales, because maybe on the side, we want it to catch this corner. We could do something like erase this one, scale the Z by 1.5, and now it covers that corner. And we could repeat that on all these corners. This is a very powerful way for us to very quickly put together all kinds of levels by painting objects onto a grid. There are some limitations though. There can only be one object occupying a given tile. So if I wanted to have, let's erase the side here. Let's say that we wanted the grass to double back around. Well, I can't have it come here where these wall pieces are because there's already a wall there. So I have to add in a space basically around it. And that may or may not be desirable. Now, of course, you can create a grass tile with a wall in it to work around this limitation. That just starts to create more and more tiles that you have to create and maintain. If you have complex levels that are vertical, not as much horizontal, those also are not really achievable with the Tilemap. In the Minigolf Microgame, I did release a level that is stacked like this, and I didn't use a Tilemap at all for this, and you can see that pretty clearly in some of these areas I have more than one tile. So while this does have a lot of flexibility and a lot of power, and we can do stuff very, very quickly, there are some limitations to be aware of, and it's not going to solve 100% of the problems for you. Now, if you want to see how the loading and the saving of these levels happens, those videos are coming soon. Make sure you've liked, make sure you've subscribed, so you're going to be notified whenever those videos come out. I hope this video helped you speed up your level design process by being able to very quickly place 3 game objects onto a grid using the Tilemap. The thing that took me the longest in this was to set up those tiles, especially the complex ones like where I have the windmill going, for example. But that's probably because I'm a total noob at modeling and I did all this with ProBuilder in Editor. But once I had all of these and they were aligned properly with my pivots, each level took minutes, sometimes even less than a minute to create. And that's really awesome when we're trying to create very large numbers of levels like what you would expect to see in a mini golf game on mobile, for example. If you made it this far into the video, thank you, and I hope you got a lot of value out of this video. If you want to show your support for the channel, there's a few ways that you can do that. You can get yourself some LlamAcademy merch right here on YouTube. You can use the affiliate links down in the description to the Humble Bundle or the Unity Asset Store. If you make any purchase through those links, I get a small percentage of the purchase price at no additional charge to you, and it helps me out tremendously. And if you want a recurring way of showing your support, you can become a YouTube member or a Patreon supporter. At the phenomenal and the tremendous tier, you'll get access to this exclusive dissolve shader. You've also got a member exclusive Discord, and at the awesome tier and higher, you'll start getting a shout out at the end of every video, like Ivan, Iviobulis, Perry, and Mustafa. And at the supporter tier, you'll get your name here on every video and on every GitHub repository released while you're a member, like all of these great people. Thank you all for your support. I am so incredibly grateful.